A glacier collapsed in Switzerland, but the danger goes far beyond ice. In the quiet Swiss village of Blatten, residents woke to a nightmare scenario. A massive section of the nearby glacier had broken free, sending millions of tons of ice, rock, and debris cascading down the mountainside with terrifying speed and force. When the avalanche stopped, 90% of the village lay buried beneath the rubble. By some miracle, an early warning system gave villagers just enough time to evacuate. This critical alert saved lives this time, but as our planet warms, these aren't freak accidents. They are terrifying previews of our future. The Blatten collapse is a symptom of a global crisis. In 2022 alone, glaciers lost 6% of their mass globally. Another 4% vanished in 2023. That's a significant loss in just 2 years. These aren't just statistics. They are screaming warning signs of a health crisis that's already unfolding. When glaciers melt, they don't just reshape landscapes, they reshape human lives. The long-term health consequences remain invisible, unaddressed, and dangerously underestimated. Altered water supplies, increased disease risk, food insecurity, these are the hidden health impacts. Climate change isn't just about melting ice caps or rising seas. It's a profound public health emergency unfolding right before our eyes. It's fundamentally reshaping how we live, how we heal, and tragically, who survives. When extreme weather strikes, think hurricanes, floods, wildfires, or intense heat waves, the damage goes far beyond property. It cripples essential health infrastructure. Hospitals can be inundated, power grids fail, disabling critical life support equipment like ventilators or refrigeration for vital medications. Supply chains collapse, leaving entire communities stranded without access to essential drugs or medical supplies. Water and sanitation systems are compromised, introducing dangerous pathogens into drinking water, leading to outbreaks. The health consequences are immediate and cascading. We see direct injuries from the disaster itself, outbreaks of infectious diseases from contaminated water or displaced vectors, and profound mental health trauma from loss and displacement. For millions living with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, or heart disease, the disruption is life-threatening. Losing access to daily medication or critical treatments during a crisis can turn a manageable condition into an emergency. This isn't a problem for future generations or distant lands. These impacts are happening now, impacting communities across the globe, and yes, right here in America. Every flood, every wildfire, every record-breaking heat wave isn't just an environmental event. It's a public health crisis unfolding in real time. The link between climate change and public health is undeniable. It's direct, immediate, and increasingly deadly. Addressing it requires the same multifaceted approach we need for issues like ensuring clean water access. It demands both urgent systemic change and collective individual action. When it comes to climate-related health crises, let's be clear, we are not all equally at risk. The harsh reality, often overlooked, is that certain communities bear a vastly disproportionate burden when disaster strikes. This isn't a level playing field. Consider rural families, for instance. They often face longer emergency response times and fewer healthcare options even under normal circumstances. When a climate disaster hits, a wildfire, a flood, a severe storm, that geographic isolation doesn't just inconvenience. It becomes a critical, potentially deadly barrier to urgent medical care and essential resources. Communities of color, too, are on the front lines. Decades of unjust housing policies like redlining and environmental injustice have pushed these populations into areas deliberately burdened by environmental hazards, with less green space, higher exposure to pollution, and vulnerable infrastructure. These are often low-lying areas prone to flooding or urban heat islands that become dangerously hot. This isn't accidental. It's the direct legacy of policies that concentrated risk and denied investment. For individuals managing chronic illnesses, conditions like diabetes, respiratory problems, or heart disease, climate disruptions can be catastrophic. A power outage means life-saving medical equipment stops working. Missed appointments or inaccessible pharmacies can trigger a cascade of severe health complications. And for those living in poverty, the safety nets simply aren't there. No emergency savings to afford evacuation costs, no second homes to retreat to, no robust insurance or private health care to fall back on when public systems are overwhelmed. This isn't merely unfortunate, it is profoundly unjust. And it demands far more than just passive acknowledgement of the problem. It requires urgent, systemic action. Because when we frame climate change as a health crisis, we are forced to confront uncomfortable questions about equity. who is prioritized for protection, and who is systematically left behind to face the worst consequences? The very same communities that have historically been denied resources, subjected to discriminatory practices, and underinvested in, are now disproportionately facing the first and worst impacts of our rapidly changing climate. This isn't a cruel coincidence. It is the entirely predictable, devastating outcome of systems and policies that were never designed with equity, justice, or the well-being of all people in mind. Addressing climate health means dismantling these inequities. So what does health equity look like in a climate-changed world? It starts with fundamentally reimagining our health systems. Climate change isn't a future threat, it's here, impacting health now through extreme heat, poor air quality, and shifting disease patterns. Our systems must adapt. This means building resilience from the ground up. Mobile clinics reaching isolated communities during and after disasters. Early warning systems accounting for mobility or language barriers, ensuring everyone gets critical information. Resilient care facilities powered by renewables, built to withstand extreme weather, ensuring essential services like vaccine refrigeration never fail when the grid goes down. It means equipping our healthcare workforce to recognize and treat climate-related illnesses, from heat stroke and respiratory issues to new vector-borne diseases. It means empowering community-based emergency response teams in vulnerable neighborhoods, building local capacity and trust. And it means ensuring life-saving medications remain accessible, even when climate disruptions break supply chains. This level of preparedness isn't just about protection, it's a matter of justice. In a world of climate instability, access to healthcare should never depend on your zip code, skin color, or bank account. We need health systems that are flexible, that bend but don't break under pressure. Systems designed to reach the most vulnerable first. Systems that fundamentally recognize environmental health and human health are two sides of the same coin. This isn't just idealism, it's practical necessity. Communities that invest in equitable preparedness are the ones that will survive, adapt, and recover. True preparation means protecting everyone. Climate change isn't a distant threat. It's here, now, fundamentally rewriting health outcomes for communities across the globe. From heat waves and wildfires to changing disease patterns and food insecurity, the impacts are undeniable and growing. But amidst this challenge, we hold immense power. The power to change the narrative, to write a better story together. While reducing emissions remains absolutely critical, the bedrock of our response, our action must go deeper. This isn't just about cutting carbon, it's about building resilience. It's about fortifying our health systems, making them robust enough to withstand the increasing pressures of extreme weather, new disease patterns, and environmental degradation. It's about ensuring these systems are equitable, specifically designed to protect the most vulnerable populations who are often hit first and hardest by these converging crises. It's about raising our voices, demanding accountability from our leaders. We must insist they prioritize not just climate action, but health equity alongside it, recognizing that these two crises are inextricably linked and must be tackled in tandem. It's about actively supporting the incredible organizations and individuals working tirelessly at this crucial intersection, translating knowledge into action on the ground. And crucially, it's about empowering ourselves and our own communities, building local resilience, preparing for the impacts we know are coming, and fostering mutual aid. The tragic collapse of the glacier in Switzerland, claiming lives, serves as a stark, undeniable warning of the accelerating pace of climate change and its direct threat to human safety. But within that warning lies an urgent opportunity. An opportunity to finally and fully recognize the profound, undeniable connections between the health of our planet and the health of every single person on it. It's an opportunity to pivot, to innovate, and to build a future that is not only resilient in the face of climate change, but fundamentally more just and equitable for everyone. We invite you to join us on this journey. Subscribe to our channel right now. We'll continue to dive deep into these vital issues, bringing you content designed to educate you about the complex challenges we face, empower you with actionable solutions you can implement, and crucially, elevate the voices and experiences of those communities most affected by the climate and health crisis. Because in the fight for a healthy planet and healthy people, knowledge isn't merely power, it is, quite literally, survival. The story of humanity's response to this defining crisis is still unfolding, still being written, day by day. Let's ensure the chapter we are writing right now is one of courage, collective action, and ultimately, one we can all be profoundly proud of.